Donald Trump as president started by doing great things, particularly closing the border to illegal immigrants, doing the war against woke, great. But lately, the Trump revolution has gone off the rails. Another terrible day yesterday in the US stock market, with tech stocks especially losing nearly 10% since early this month. And that's after the latest slumps after Trump caused panic by threatening to fire the head of the Fed, the central bank, for not lowering interest rates.
He'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late, always too late, a little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
And that's not all. There are even rumours Trump will fire Pete Hegseth, his defence secretary, after Hegseth now has twice shared sensitive details of an attack on Yemen in chat groups on Signal, which included his wife. And Hegseth, or Trump, either, have sacked 4 of Hegseth's top staffers last week, including his chief of staff. Then there were the wars that Trump promised to end, like in Ukraine.
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has kept stringing Trump along for months, despite Trump treating him like a friend, although Putin did announce a 30-hour ceasefire for Easter.
I order that all military actions be stopped for this period.
But that was actually a fake ceasefire. Putin kept bombing Ukraine, while meanwhile pretending to be a Christian going to Easter services. And the war in Gaza, that also keeps going, and Iran still refuses to end its nuclear program despite Trump threats. They're calling this bluff. And then there's the tariff war, with China now threatening to hit back at Trump and at countries that make deals with the US to end the tariffs that hurt China. So, a lot of strife suddenly hitting Trump. Joining me is Trump's first White House spokesman, Sean Spicer. I spoke to him earlier. Sean Spicer, great to see you again. I just wonder how much trouble Donald Trump is in. I mean, now threatening to fire Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, causing the stock market to tank again. Was that a mistake?
Look, I think part of the reason he does this is so that the American people, are under the continuous impression, which he rightly so, wants to give them, that he is fighting for their economic well-being. The election was fought on 2 fronts: immigration, which he's clearly at the forefront of dealing with on several fronts. No one could say he's not dealing with immigration, even his staunchest opponent. And on the economy, Andrew, part of it is that there's only so much you can do. And obviously he's dealing with the tariff issue, which is probably adding some instability to the market. So he wants to show the American people he's willing to fight for them. He's upset that Jerome Powell didn't issue another rate cut, and because that would obviously have a very positive effect on the market and on people's lending and mortgage rates and things like that. So for those reasons, I think he wants the American people to know that he's out there continuing to fight for lower costs and their bottom line.
And then there's more noise, rumours, well, not that well sourced, but rumours that he'll sack his defence secretary, Pete Hegseth, who's caught up in yet another Signal scandal, sharing secrets of information that seemed to me pretty top secret about a bombing raid on the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Is he going to sack him?
No. Look, I think Pete Hegseth is widely regarded as fulfilling the president's America First agenda. And at the end of the day, when you look at the results that Pete Hegseth has gotten, morale is up by, it's anecdotal, but I haven't talked to a single person in the military who's not excited about his leadership. Number 1. Number 2, recruiting is way up. Number 3, when you look at the focus on the warfighter and our deterrence capabilities, you got to give Pete Hegseth a lot of credit for that. The president and Pete go back a long time. He's got a great respect for his national service and the things that he's done for veterans organizations. So, I think the media wants there to be a fight with Secretary Hegseth, but I think he's on strong footing with the president. And I'll tell you another thing, both the president and Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, gave strong signals today that he was on good standing. And that means a lot in Trump world. When the president and his top lieutenants go out and publicly back you, that means a lot.
And yet his former head of communications, John Ulyott, who who quit last week. He wasn't one of the 4 sackings. The sackings included Hegseth's chief of staff. But he said it's been a month of total chaos in the Pentagon. This is a guy that has worked and supported Hegseth for ages. Said a month of total chaos in the Pentagon, and he can't see Hegseth remaining in his role for much longer.
Look, I've known John Elliott for a long time. I will say this, without betraying any trust, John felt very betrayed as far as the job that he was offered at the Pentagon and how that went down. There's a lot more to this story that, frankly, the media doesn't want to report because it doesn't play well for Secretary Hegseth. I know that there were some personal issues that he had with how his job went down there, and that I think has most of the issue surrounding this really is him being disgruntled with his own employment position at the Pentagon. I think a lot of what he wrote in that op-ed was because he was upset as to how his employment situation was handled.
And finally, Vladimir Putin. Look, I've said this for ages, Sean, that Vladimir Putin is playing Trump along. In my mind, making him look like weak, not a man that's going to follow through with some of his threats, etc. Do you think, after this farcical Easter truce of 30 hours that he didn't even honour himself, that Trump will see through Vladimir Putin and finally cut him loose?
I don't know if he'll cut him loose, but I will say this. One of the mistakes that Putin has made is Trump gave him a lot of latitude. Donald Trump wanted to make a deal. He wanted peace in that area. He wanted the end to the killing and the destruction. He probably would have gotten the best deal that he ever can get under what Donald Trump and his team had proposed. And I think Donald Trump will not stand for how Putin is treating him publicly right now. And whether it's economic sanctions or further military action, I wouldn't be surprised to see Trump take some swift action very soon, because Putin has shown him a lack of respect that Trump does not react well to. Yeah,
my point being that that was always what Putin was going to do, read the animal. But, there you go.
I think you are right, Andrew. Putin had an opportunity to make a lasting peace, and he made a huge calculated mistake by not taking advantage of the situation and Donald Trump's overtures to make that peace.
Yeah, but again, Putin never wanted peace. He wants victory. That's the thing.